at covers.com. And we are pumped for tonight's show. We got a special guest joining us here in just a moment, a guest picker that we're going to hear from. We're going to break down everything on the golf course, all 3 golf courses, how to approach it from a betting standpoint, a couple hot takes there. We're going to get to your outright bets, all the good stuff. But first, Pat, how you feeling? Didn't mean to out your medical history there, but how you feeling with the Rona? I'm sorry to hear it, buddy. Sorry to hear it.
Well, it was bound to happen at some point. And this I'm wearing this national 2021 national champion Georgia Bulldog hat, and this was not the only souvenir that I got in Indianapolis. I got the vid, got the COVID, got the Optimus Prime version of it, and so it's just I'm dealing tonight, laboring a little bit, but we're gonna have a good show, and looking forward to it. It's that time of year, three courses, right? So anyway, ready to go. Do we have sound issues again? Like I
Technical
don't.
difficulties piss
Yeah.
me off. They really piss me off. Why
Yeah.
can't just work? Okay. Apparently we're fine. Thank you to those of us in the chat, those of you in the chat helping us out. We appreciate that. Producer Sam's, he's doing his best. He's a great man.
I'm taking my hat off now. It's a little
You
uncomfortable.
taking that national championship hat off? We had such a great time in Indy. Listen, thanks to everybody who supported us in Indianapolis. We got a lot of Twitter, Instagram, Twitter DMs saying they were happy for us. We had such an optimal time. We don't have time to get into all that, but it was so great. And it was just so much fun. And we appreciate everybody being patient. We really appreciate Mark Hill and Sam kicking in to get the show done for the Sony Open and doing a great job. Mark was great again. We love Mark. He's got a big week this week on the DP World Tour, as a lot of big names are in Abu Dhabi. Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy, Hovland, Tommy Fleetwood, all these guys. Adam Scott's playing the Abu Dhabi. So if you're into betting that, or you're into playing DFS for that, you need to check out Mark Hill's show that drops here on the YouTube channel for Tour Junkies, or be sure you've subscribed to the DP World Tour Junkies podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. It is now in a separate stream, podcast stream than ours. So shout out to Mark Hill. Also, shout out Garrett Simmons, our new Korn Ferry Tour kid. We're calling him the kid. He's a young buck, 27-year-old young buck, single, no kids, no responsibilities, running a podcast on the Korn Ferry Tour for us. He's a former Korn Ferry Tour caddy. He knows these places so well. He dropped his first episode this past Saturday because the golf tournament starts on Sunday in the Bahamas for the next couple weeks. And he's looking good right now. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm gonna. He's already got a winner rolling right now. Chris Baker was a guy he had on his radar at like 50-1. Chris Baker's tied for the lead right now, second round. So shout out to Garrett Simmons. You're going to want to check that out as well on the YouTube channel, and look up the Korn Ferry Tour Junkies podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. So we got that happening. Also this week, our interview with Kevin Streelman is dropping. Now, listen, if you're thinking to yourself like, hey, Kevin Streelman is probably just a lame dude. It's a guy. He's just a guy. He's a white dude that looks like a CPA maybe, or possibly, a middle school math teacher. He kind of looks like one of those guys. But let me tell you, Kevin Streelman, we've done a lot of interviews over the years for players. He was one of the best dudes and really entertained. The dude's been on tour for 13 years, fam. Like, he's made a ass ton of cash on the PGA Tour and just being regular. He's got some good stories. We love talking to him. He was super nice. So check that out. That's going to drop on the YouTube channel and the podcast on Thursday as well. So big
He
week.
could really pass as a CPA though. Like if he's walking down the
100%.
street, you're like, that's my CPA. There he is. That's Streele's
There he is.
CPA.
There he is. Look, hey, save me some money on my taxes, man. More than last year, dog. You know what I mean? Like, you could say that to him, and he might be like, all right, cool. So, all right. Our special guest is here. I was going to get in some hot takes on Kevin Na and Grayson Murray, but maybe we'll get our guest to chime in on that. We have a special guest tonight. We did this from time to time last year. This is our first one for this year. Bringing in a guest picker. It's kind of like game day, college game day. They bring in the guest picker. They make the home team mad or happy, whatever. But we're going to bring him in, and I want you to learn a little bit more about him, and we're going to put him on the spot and have him pick a winner for the American Express. I hope he's ready. Producer Sam, why don't you bring him in, then I'm going to intro him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tour Junkies podcast, Mr. Roger Steele. What's up, man?
What's up, baby? How y'all feeling?
Trap golf.
Good,
dude. How are you?
You're
looking good, man. Looking good. Welcome to this podcast. Welcome to the Tour Junkies podcast. Listen, if you guys don't know who Roger Steele is, the man is doing it. He's Make Golf Cool again. Make Golf Cool is this guy right here. He's on Instagram. Instagram and TikTok is really where I think my man thrives. Trap Golf representative, Callaway. And what is so cool is to have watched you kind of grow in this, I guess you're a golf influencer. I guess that's what you are.
Yeah,
I don't know if you like
you
call
can
it that.
pigeonhole me into that. You can pigeonhole me into that. That's cool.
It's super funny. I love your videos where you kind of riff on golf and maybe even make fun of it to an extent. But dude, I saw you recently. We've been trying to get Roger on the show for a while, have we not? We've been DMing for months about this, and we just could never make it happen. But partially because this man's schedule is banana land. I just saw you do these things called, I know you do a bunch of stuff, but I want you to tell us a little bit about this. Is it range talk? Is that what it's called?
So that's the thing that we dropping with Callaway coming up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's range talk. So we did it with Steph Curry, Xander, John Rahm, Annika, Yuka Sasso from the LPGA Women's US Open winner. We just did one with Phil. You know what I mean?
Just about to say.
Yeah, we was just kicking it with Phil. So yeah, Callaway, they opened up their phone book for me, man, and I was like, I'll take it.
You do a great job, man. But we kind of want to know any behind the scenes stuff, especially with like Phil and Xander and Steph. Like, you got anything that you could kind of, fill us in, give us a little story, a little nugget, especially those guys, man. I mean, those guys are legends.
Yeah, man. I think that with Phil, spending that time with Phil, I'm afraid for everybody that's playing against him, especially on the Champions Tour for 2022. And then, I think he gonna, I think he probably got a couple wins going for him in 2022 on a PGA Tour too, man. Like, he hitting the ball very long, and he got like a weird amount of control. I always thought Phil sprayed the ball. Every time I seen him live, like, he was hitting it left, right. All his highlights come out of the woods and from weird places. So I'm just like, man, Phil don't hit fairways like me. That's like my brother right there, But then we get out there, and I just see he got complete ball control with his driver now and beating it. And I'm like, that's like a game changer. You know what I mean? So I'm looking to see him have some success, especially down at the Masters, man. I was talking to him about things on his to-do list, and he had that pretty high up there, building a lot of shots to help him get around Augusta pretty good. So, yeah, I think that, spending time with Phil, everybody called Bryson like the nerd in golf, but Phil is like next level though, dog.
Yeah.
Like, Phil is next level, bro.
He was the original nerd. He was the original golf nerd for sure.
Yeah.
DB sprays it all over the place too, Roger. So, but here's the thing. Here, Phil Mick, you can spray it all over the place at Augusta, so it doesn't really matter. But hey, look, so you mentioned Steph, you mentioned Phil. Who's a little more low key? Somebody, that was like really impressed you with some of the stuff you've done that, that's not as big of a name like a Phil or a Steph or something.
But Xander a sleeper though, man.
Yeah.
Xander give you one of them. He give you that vibe that, like, no matter what sport he picked up, he was gonna be lethal at it. Like, it's just like got that real like subtle killer. Like, he looking at you in your eyes, and you feel like a little intimidated a little bit. Like, why do I like? We just talking about breakfast. Why do I feel like my heart rate speeding up a little bit, dog? But he got like one of those auras that he handled his business, man. And so I thought that meeting him in person, seeing how diligent he was about his craft, and obviously he's an amazing player, one of the best in the world. But I was just impressed, like, how well-rounded he was as a person, and just understanding his mind and his steadfastness to how he gonna accomplish his goals. I think he definitely gonna scratch that major box very soon. I got that in 2022 for him.
How far are you hitting it, Roger? What's your
man, bro? I'm hitting it. I got this new Rogue, man, and my ball speed jumped up a little bit. So like my ball speed sitting right now between like 190 and 194, something like that.
Excuse me?
Yeah, it get a little toasty coming
I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah, a little toasty coming off that face now, dog.
Dude.
But we got a very toxic relationship with the fairway. So it's very toxic. Very toxic.
Hey, what's next for you? Like, what else you working on? Obviously, you got the range talk stuff. But like, if you're given the 30-second, 60-second pitch to people who don't know, like, who is this guy? Why should I follow him? Like, what's next? And what are you, what are your followers going to get out of you?
Man, we just gonna keep making golf cool, baby. I just think that it's an opportunity to showcase golf through a new light, right? Like, it's just, I grew up in a lot of other sports and in a lot of environments that golf don't necessarily coincide with. So I'm just excited to frame the sport from the vantage point of somebody who, is familiar with this space, but like has a very different take on how it should look. So like a lot more PGA Tour events, a lot more golf experiences nationally, like setting up things for us to have in-person experiences with different people that I engage with state to state. And then a lot more dope content series coming out too, man. Keep making y'all laugh and helping y'all learn a little bit along the way. So it's going to be fun, awesome. Dog. It's going to be fun this year.
All right. A lot of people don't like to do this, but like if you're going to brag on yourself, like what's the favorite, your favorite piece of content that you've ever put out? Because I have like a couple videos, like I think it was some of your early videos.
Yeah.
That stick out to me. They're pretty funny, but like, what's your favorite?
Man, my very first one, dog. That's like I made this. I had this thing called Real Talk that I do, and it was just, bro. Yeah. Like what happened was like, so my background. I come from a media background, so I do content creation for like different companies and athletes, and I was really into like the visual storytelling. Yep. And then when COVID happened, I got fired from everything. Oh. So I go from like being booked and busy to like people, like the calls was coming one after the other. People saying like, "Hey man, we can't pay you this month. Like we don't know what's going on with the world." Wow. So I sat around for a few months, and then I just like, man, all these people that I was kind of trying to like dumb myself down to fit in around, like they all just turned their back on me anyway. I should have been being myself the whole time, And so then that's when I sat down in front of a camera one day, and I had all my buddies that was asking me like, man, I want to play golf. I want to play golf. I see you out there playing golf. And I was just like, look, man, instead of having all these one-on-one conversations, I'm gonna just make this one video and I'm gonna just send it to all of y'all.
That's the one I love.
Yeah.
You're almost like it's like the warning label. You're like looking at your boys and going, y'all, you think you do, but golf is evil.
I don't care. I don't care what you did in your past, dog. What grade championships you don't won, dog. But golf is not gonna correlate with that success, dog. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
That was a good piece. Well, before we get out of here with your pick to win, I do have to give a shout out. Our boy Aaron Munn of Trap Golf, founder of Trap Golf, right?
Yes. Sir.
I reached out to Aaron. He knew you were coming on the podcast tonight, so he's agreed to do a little giveaway. So all we're gonna do, Roger Steele, he's one of my favorite influencers, golf influencers. That's why we're having him on. It ain't because Pat won it. No offense, Roger, but Pat. Look at it. So obviously, Roger's one of my favorite, golf influencer followers. So in the YouTube comments, okay, I want you to comment who your favorite golf influencer follow is on any social media platform, because maybe we don't know, and I'd like to know. I'd like to know who to go out, who to go check out. Comment who your favorite golf influencer is. And we're going to pick one at random, and we're going to send you out a little Trap Golf package. So a hat and a shirt. Aaron Munn's agreed to do that. So we'll send that to you. And listen, if you win the contest and go, man, I'm kind of like Pat. I don't think I could pull off the Trap Golf stuff,
Pat, that's how you feeling, baby? That's how you feeling?
No, I don't know where this is all coming from.
Then maybe we'll send you if that's the case, we'll send you a Tour Junkie swag pack.
Look, I'm dealing with the COVID. He's trying to like just pile it on me. That's what he's trying to do.
Pat, let's be real, okay? Real talk with Roger Steele.
I got some trap. I have some Trap Golf. I have it. I just
you knew I was coming on. How come you didn't put it on for me, baby? What's up with that?
It's COVID. It's COVID brain.
It's COVID brain.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's what we're gonna do. Comment your favorite influencer. Put that in the YouTube comments. If you're watching live, save it for the end. The live comments don't count, and we'll send you a little Trap Golf swag pack. Or if you Pat busted, we'll send you some Tour Junkie stuff. All right, Roger. We're gonna have to get out of here with this. Listen, now we've never had a guest picker actually pick the winner, so that's no pressure for you.
That ain't no
pressure.
And
you could go down as a legend. So, tell us who you got for the MX.
Just because I'm a very emotional picker when it comes to stuff like this, man. I ride with my homies and people that I get access to because I know what kind of work they put in. So for this one, I'm gonna have to go with a little long shot, but my boy Taylor Gooch, bro.
Oh,
I don't know if y'all know about Taylor Gooch.
Oh yeah.
But look, man, my boy. First of all, I saw him out at Kapalua, and he just absolutely striping the ball.
Yeah.
Then, you know, with him, it's just a matter of he hitting fairways, his strokes gain on the approach, like he just hitting it in there tight. And I just asked him a simple question, like, bro, how your putter feeling this week? He like, yeah, we ready. Well, bro, I'm like, all right, if that's the case, bro, you got it. You got it, baby. You got it.
So, I mean, Roger, you're talking to the Tour Junkies, bro. We've been doing this 7 years.
Yeah.
We knew these kids when they were in diapers, all right? And we bet and gamble on these suckers every week. So we know the Gooch is loose. We're very familiar with Taylor Gooch.
Gooch loose, baby.
He's
Gooch
a stud.
loose.
All right, so he's about 36-1. I think it's the best number I see on FanDuel. So 36-1. Can Taylor Gooch do it? Now, before we get you out of here, now I got to ask you this. Did you see his round with Kevin Na this past week by chance?
No, I didn't get to watch it. Tell me, fill me in real quick.
Apparently, I mean, there was some rumors going around that Na's slow play was really getting in your boy Gooch. I think it was testing his Christianity a little bit out there on the fairways, brother. Old Gooch, boy, he's a good kid, but I think he was getting tested by Kevin Na's slow play.
That's a hot one right there, baby.
You got any takes on the Kevin Na, Grayson Murray stuff? Did you see that go down?
I did see that go down on Twitter, man. And I just think, I'm just look. My whole sentiment with this is like I hate slow play, bro. But at the end of the day, them PGA Tour players, they used to that. They know what it is. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna take that time, just make sure you get the ball in the hole fast. And so I never been I think that like players controlling the tempo, like in other sports, that's like a strength. That's an asset. You know, you make people play at your tempo, and however it affect the rest of the field, that's how it affect the field. But I also think that, you know, I just think that Kevin not doing he doing Kevin not type stuff, man. And if you can't handle it by now, come on, man.
Yeah,
come on. We gotta boss up a little bit.
All right, so Taylor Gooch is.
But I like that he clapping back though. I love when PGA Tour players clap back.
We need to see a little bit of that.
Yeah, we need more. We need more of that.
All right, Taylor Gooch is a pick from Roger Steele. Roger, as you get out of here, man, plug what you want. Where do people go find you? What do you want to plug? Hit it.
Man, y'all just need to get trappy, stay trappy. Go check us out at trapgolf.com. Make sure y'all shopping with Callaway. And then I got some special announcements coming up. So just hit me on the page on IG, man.
All right. Got it. At Roger Steele. Is that right? At Roger Steele Jr.?
No, just Roger Steele. Just at Roger Steele.
Damn, why we got Junior up there? What we doing, man? What we got? Roger's kid coming up? You got a kid you don't know about?
No. Not that I know about.
At Roger Steele, let's do it. Thanks, man. We appreciate you coming on. And we'd love to have you on again.
Hey, man, appreciate you, bro.
Stay trappy. We'll see you out there on a PGA Tour event, too.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Roger.
All right, Roger.
I'm going to put some of that trap golf on, I promise.
Get that COVID brain out of here.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, man. All right, Roger Steele, that's the man. I'm telling you guys, this is a funny dude. He's a really funny dude. Check him out. All right, Pat, let's get into the American Express. We're going to talk some betting. We're going to talk about these golf courses this week at PGA West. The amateurs are back this week, and I'm not talking about me and Pat. I'm talking about the guys that play with the pros. So say hello to 6-hour rounds. Tell us about the golf course. What do we need to know, dude?
Yeah, so we've got 3 courses this week. Now, last year they did not have 3 courses. They dropped La Quinta, as I used to call it La Quinta.
Year one, he called it.
Year one, I called it La Quinta, but I learned it's now La Quinta. But they dropped that last year because they did not have the amateurs, so they didn't have so many players on the courses. But we do have 3 courses this week. Amateurs are back. 156 players are in the field this week. T65 and ties are going to make the cut. Actually, does that drop? Is it 54?
No, I think it's
65. It's 65 still, but it's after 54
round 3.
holes. Yeah. So you get at least 3 rounds. You're going to play TPC Stadium course at PGA West. You're going to play the PGA Nicklaus Tournament course and La Quinta Country Club. Now, the Stadium course is a Pete Dye design. That is the main course for the tournament this week. So if you make the cut after Saturday, you're going to play that course twice. So you'll play it on Sunday. It's a par 72, 7,158 yards. You've got 4 par 5s here. All of them are actually, all the par 5s on these 3 courses are all relatively easy and not that long. You got 4 par 3s, Bermuda grass, tee to green. The Nicklaus course is a par 72, playing about 7,150 yards. Again, 4 par 5s, 4 par 3s, Bermuda grass, tee to green. And then La Quinta Country Club is a par 72, also just over 7,000 yards. Same thing, 4 par 5s, 4 par 3s, Bermuda grass, tee to green. This one is typically played as the easiest one. And stadium course is supposed to be the hardest one, but the last few years it's actually played a little bit easier than how it really kind of started after they redid it a few years ago. But look, I think any player can win out here. This is definitely a long shot week. Par 5 scoring to me is going to be huge. I am going to look at form for sure and some course history. I mean, 8 of the last 9 winners here have at least played here once before, with Adam Long being the exception when he won in 2018. I mentioned par 5s. I think par 5 scoring is huge this week. Strokes gained approach as always. Strokes gained off the tee. Opportunities gained. You look at your past champions. See, woo! Last year in 2021.
Yes.
Then you had Andrew Landry in 2020. He was 200-1, by the way. Adam Long in 2018. I have written down 600-1.
Yes.
Good Lord. John Rahm obviously was not 600-1 when he won in 2017, and then Hudson Swafford in 2016. Other winners here, just to note, Patrick Reed, who's in the field, Perez, Hoffman, Charlie Hoffman, and Bill Haas.
Hoffman withdrew, but yeah,
Hoffman withdrew. But I was just reading off other winners of note.
Well, we know how you are with withdrawals, Pat. You don't.
Yeah, true.
Okay, are you done?
I don't know if I am or not, to be honest, but I think I am.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, I think this is in the last 6 years, you've had one winner shorter than 40-1, and that was John Rahm when he won it 10-1. You got some decent names up top, that's for sure. But definitely, it seems to be a place where any kind of game can win. Bombers have an advantage for sure. The rough isn't super penal. Greens and regulation is pretty high here. So bombers can win. Shorter hitters can win. It just doesn't seem like a course that just boxes a certain player type in, other than you got to score a lot of birdies. You got to make a lot of birdies and eagles. And the weather so far early on looks pretty mild, maybe a little wind on Saturday. But other than that, everything looks pretty easy. Like we've had this for the last couple weeks. No real wind in Hawaii. Looks like no real wind this week in California. So it's going to be another scoring fest. It's been like 24 under average winning score the last few years. So you better bring it. And you can be, you got to have guys that are aggressive. And the course history thing is not really being weighted as much for me this week as maybe it was last week for looking at the Sony. But I mean, most of the guys have played this tournament before outside of a few Korn Ferry Tour rookies. And I guess I'm more weighting guys who we've seen in the last 2 weeks. So most of my picks are guys that have played at least one of these Hawaii events. And some of that's just because it's kind of the devil we know versus the devil we don't know, right? Like, I mean, who knows what these guys have been doing since we've seen them last in maybe November, but probably October or September. So, every year early in the season like this, and these first few events, to me, it kind of helps to at least have a little idea of, of where their game is at, even if they haven't played well in Hawaii, miscut or so. Like, it still is something. So now there's a couple names in here that I've got written down that I think I might lean a little bit on, even though they haven't played yet. But I think that's a thing. So
I don't know. I don't know if I think that's a thing.
Okay.
I don't know if I do. I mean, we were saying one of the narratives going into the century was, we haven't seen Patrick Cantlay in forever. And he top fives, and he's
but the century's the first event back.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't necessarily think that these guys have bad form because they didn't play in Hawaii.
Yeah, but but every year at the Century, at the Sony, and even some this year, you're gonna get guys in the press room, and what are they gonna say? They're gonna say, "Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of it's first week back. It's kind of shaking the rust off. It's seeing where the game's at." Like, you're gonna get that. I can pull clips for that. I can pull transcripts for that right now. So I mean, that is real. It may not. I mean, just because you're Patrick Cantlay,
that doesn't necessarily make me on a guy or not. I'm not going to not take a guy if I think he's good fit for the course because he didn't play in Hawaii.
Okay, well, we're different there, buddy. I mean, I think it means more than any course history at this event. I don't think course history plays a big deal into this.
I'm not saying it's a big deal, but I would certainly look at it.
Okay, good for you.
I always look at it.
Yeah, we know. I think that's all I got. I mean, Patrick Cantlay shot a 61 here last year. By the way, Siwoo Kim was on the betting card for yours truly. It was I think it was my first hit of the year of 2021. He was on the betting card last year when he won. He withstood Patrick Cantlay's 61 course record breaking 61 on the stadium course. I think he broke it by like 2 shots. and he did it on Sunday. That's pretty good.
If you played in Hawaii, so we're going to use that as all right. So you played in Hawaii, right? Let's say
I
you
did
played
not
the
play in Hawaii.
Century, but you didn't play the Sony Open.
Uh-huh.
Aren't most people that play the Century Tournament champions? What are they? They're champions.
Yes,
They're the best in the world that have all won the year prior.
Okay. What's your point?
I'm just saying it doesn't. I just don't think it really matters all that much.
Do you want a trend? 11 of the last 14 winners have played in just the Sony Open before the American Express.
Yeah, but they're winners. They've won at the Century Tournament. I mean, they won to get to the Century Tournament champions. They're great golfers.
I said the Sony. 11 of the last 14 winners have played in the Sony before the American Express.
Okay, whatever. You
want to keep arguing about that for 15 minutes?
I just don't. I don't think it's. I've read that like all over Twitter today. It's like all I've read.
That's all you've read?
A lot of it, yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And you're just going to buck the system because that's what you're going to do for no other reason.
Maybe I just, maybe the Optimus Prime has my brain thinking more clearly on what we should really be thinking about.
I think it probably does. All right, let's get into the picks. Let's look at the favorites up here, and then I want to spend a lot of time in these longer ranges because, that's where like most of the field is at. Before we do that, we do have to let everybody know our friends at Fujikura Golf are back. Love Fujikura. I've got the Ventus shaft in my driver right now that is helping me keep it a little more tight in the fairways there. But the Ventus TR, brand new shaft, launched today, and it's the #1 driver and wood in the last 2 weeks on tour in terms of how their players have played, including Cam Smith. Cam Smith won the Century Tournament Champions with the new Ventus TR on the driver and the 3-wood. So check out the Fujikura Ventus collection when you go to get fitted. We always recommend you go get fitted for a driver. Do not buy a driver off the shelf. I don't care what handicap you are. Don't buy a driver off the shelf. Always get fitted. And when you go, ask beforehand, do you guys carry Fujikura shafts and the Ventus? That's what you need to do. Check it out. It's good stuff. All right, Pat. Short range here, up to 25-1, top of the board. Now, this is interesting. You've obviously got the studs in Jon Rahm and Patrick Cantlay, really the class of the field. And I'm going to go ahead and start this off by saying this is my stay away range. Now, I'm sure, if you listen to Tour Junkies podcast,
that's bold.
Yeah, I'm sure but I guess if you look at implied odds, the implied odds combined for Jon Rahm and Patrick Cantlay are to put them at 23% chance of winning this golf tournament. 23%. And it is obviously, we talked about it, a historically long shot event. And there's been good players that have played here frequently. So, that's what you have to decide. I feel like that's the very first decision. When you're looking at the betting board this week, you have to decide, am I going to have any exposure to those two players? Because if I am, you're going to have like those two players, more than likely, unless you're going out over your skis a little bit with your bankroll management, you're going to have those two players and maybe one or two more. And then that's it, in a 156-man field event where a guy like Adam Long won at 600-1 just 2 years ago. So you kind of have to make that decision up front. And it's laughable, I know, but for me, I'm easily going to not do that. I will take my chances with the rest of the field and have more outs and more bets on the board. So what are you going to do about those two first, Pat?
Well, I agree with you there. I think, for me, I'm not going to bet on Rahm or Cantlay. Besides the fact that it just doesn't really excite me all that much. But you look at the field like this, you look at winners we've had in the past, long shots, 3/4 of this field are over 100-1 in odds, I would say. That number may not be exact, but it's probably close.
That's a lot.
So I think that, and the way these courses line up, you got 3 courses, you got amateurs playing, you got easier pin positions because you do have the amateurs, you have all kinds of different factors with the 3 courses and whatever else that so many different players can win. I would rather take my chances, drop down the board, take some longer shot guys, and then, maybe this mid range, which I do like a little bit. And that's where I'll go. Now there's a couple shorter odds guys that I like, but it's certainly not going to be Rahm or Cantlay.
Okay, so we're on the same page there. I got 2 names here in that 25-1 range, and the first one's Tony Finau. The best number he can find on him is at 24-1 on FanDuel. But Tony Finau, we just saw him play the Century, finished 19th. Nothing crazy to write home about. But I like seeing the ball striking. He gained 2 shots, tee to green. The putter wasn't there. Whatever. Played here last year, finished 4th. The year before that, finished 14th. So I'm in on Finau at 24-1. And then Corey Connors. I mean, I wanted to kind of see what he looked like last week, and he looked okay. He wasn't amazing. He didn't set the world on fire, but he played pretty good. I think he finished 11th or so, something like that. The ball striking was definitely there. Corey Connors hasn't played here in a couple years. He's got a missed cut and a T50, I believe. Yep. But I mean, when you think about a place like this, you just got to pound a bunch of greens. I mean, Corey Connors comes out last week. Here's a name. Here's a guy that came out his first event that we've seen since November and did great. He did what Corey Connors normally does. He gained almost 2 strokes off the tee, and he gained 6 strokes on approach. And the putter is it's kind of interesting to see 3 out of his last 4 events. He's either broken even or he's gained strokes with the putter. And he's a little streaky with that putter, and we know. But I mean, if Corey Connors starts making putts, as we all know, he could go bananas. So he's 25-1. The best number on him is at BetMGM. So I'll go Finau and Connors.
All right. Well, I was really feeling like I wanted to be real disagreeable with you to start the show, but I actually do agree with you on the Finau pick. He was one of mine. I was kind of surprised that you were going to go there, so I do like Finau, and I saw that 24-1 number as well. I like Scotty Scheffler. I mean, you see him as short as maybe 16-1 on some books. I've seen him at 20-1, so if you can get him at that number, I think that's a good number. Look, last time he played here last year, he did miss a cut, but as I mentioned when I was talking about the courses, they didn't have La Quinta. It was a little bit different setup. But the last time they did have 3, played the 3 courses with the amateurs and everything, he was T3. So, I think it's 3rd all alone. So I think Scheffler, you look at just the way he strikes the ball, obviously was trending up last year, especially after the Ryder Cup. He makes a ton of birdies. He's 10th in the field in birdie or better percentage. I really like Scheffler this week, and I think that 20-1 number, if you can get it, is a good number. Not as sold on him at 16-1, but still, probably if I'm going to go with the shortest odd guy here in this field, I would go with Scheffler at 16-1, but definitely get 20-1 if you can.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of examples here of why it's important to have more than one book because, I mean, I think there's a big difference with Scheffler. Obviously, BetMGM getting him at 20-1. If you're strictly a DraftKings person, you're getting him at 16. That's the worst number I can find on him right now. So definitely important to do that. All right, Pat, what about the next range? Up to like that 75-1 spot.
All right. Well, I'm sure you knew I was going to talk about this guy, and that is Matthew Wolff he is 30-1.
Yeah, 31-1. 31-1 on
30
FanDuel.
or 31.
FanDuel has these weird numbers. Like you probably hate FanDuel Sportsbook.
I do not like it. That's why I said 30. That's why I said 30. I don't want to. I don't want to
converted it in
like
your
that.
mind. God,
Unless
if you guys
like
only knew how OCD and how strange Pat Perry really can be.
Anyway, I do like.
I don't know about Wolff, man. I am very, very bullish on Matt Wolff this season. I am.
Yeah,
I took him as my. What did I take him? Did I take him as my second pick? I think I took him as my second pick in the Mayo draft.
I like him a lot. Now, look, I know he does not have very good history here. I know this is, may not be the best setup, but look,
It's not.
He should destroy these par 5s. He really should. I mean, and he certainly.
It's not that I don't think he won't destroy the par 5. I'm worried because, while these courses typically do play easier, like there is trouble. Like, so it doesn't.
There is.
It doesn't concern me that he's not going to make a bunch of birdies and eagles. He is, but I just also am worried about the water balls and stuff. But however, again, it's a 54-hole tournament guaranteed. So you could be aggressive with a kid like that. That may be the play. Yeah. Actually, I may be talking myself back into Matthew Wolff. I didn't know what to do with him before this.
I like him at that number. And you look at the way. I mean, the last time we saw him playing a PGA Tour event, he was T11 at the Houston Open, was T5 at Mayakoba. He really came back strong. I feel like. After the whole, the mental things and injuries and everything else that he was dealing with at the beginning of last year. So I really like Matthew Wolff. And I think that number at 30-1 is good, or 31-1, whatever you want to say. Here's another one I like. Willie Z, 50-1.
Oh,
Will Zalatoris. Now, I kind of feel like we need to have a conversation about Willie Z. Yeah, he was the hot guy last year. Everybody wanted to talk about him. He was trying to get like official on the tour because he was coming off of the web.com and the Corn Ferry or whatever. But I think Willie Z actually is going to come in under the radar a little bit if you're talking about DraftKings, DFS. But I still like him also at that 50-1 number. You look at his stats: strokes gained approach, checks the box there, driving, par 3 scoring, ball striking, birdie or better percentage. I like a lot about Willie Z this week. Now, his putting is always an issue for sure. But I think at 50-1, that is a really good number on Willie Z.
Isn't he Ben loves for me to say this. Isn't he a Cali kid too? I mean, I know he's got ties to Texas, but didn't he? I think he has a lot of affinity for the West Coast, I think.
Are you just saying that because he's like a skinny blonde-haired guy that
No.
kind of has flowing hair and like
No.
maybe looks like a surfer or something? Are you like? Saying?
Where's he from? Will Zalatoris. Yeah, he was born kid.
Okay.
I've heard him talk about his love for the West Coast swing.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? I got a couple. I got
another one I like is I like Seabez here at 60-1. Christian Bezuidenhout, 60-1. You look at his last few events. He finished T17. By the way, your Sony Open, your played in Hawaii theme, T17 last week, had a T15 back in the fall at Mayakoba. I think Seabez is a good fit here too. So I like him there at 60-1.
Maybe that's another thing you can put in the YouTube comments. Are you on my side with this Hawaii thing? Do you feel better about clicking the name if you've seen him play a little bit of golf in 2022, or do you just not care? Put that in the comments as well. That'd be great. Help us out. The comments help people. If you want to help us, then help us. Put some comments in the YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Do all those things. We need it. We appreciate it. Thank you. Good job.
By the way, one more thing about Seabez too. He's a good putter, which I think this course, these greens, they are Bermuda, but they're not very grainy. At least from
got a lot of POA. There's a POA over. There's all kind of POA Bermuda over.
I think what that's going to mean though is it's going to just be the best putters you want to look at. I don't think I'm just going to look at Bermuda. I'm just going to look at maybe some of the best putters over a significant amount of rounds. Seabez is 4th in the field over his last 100 rounds, just putting any surface.
Yeah, played well over the weekend too at the Sony. Well, you didn't name a single name that I have written down.
Good. That's good for the people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What do we think about Russell Henley again?
Nope.
I mean,
you know what I have JT posting vibes with this one.
Really? You mean like driver yips?
No, like just how JT Poston almost won last year, but then he didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the vibe that I got.
But with JT, it was literally a ball that was a pube hair out of bounds that rattled
really affect you,
and it got Seamus Power on the tour. Like that was that was the one Seamus Power won.
But Hideki just like literally drove a dagger through him. I mean, we
didn't get a chance to talk about it because obviously Roger was in there and our technical difficulties and all that. But I mean, the drive that Hideki hit on 18 and then that 3-wood to 3 feet. I mean, so that's what I'm saying.
That's
like for Russell Henley,
but
I mean, for Russell Henley, it's not like it wasn't like, to me, that's different than the JT thing. Because like that you go to bed thinking about that drive and that ball being literally having the guy, the rules official, take a string to determine whether the ball's out of bounds or not. Like you're going to bed thinking about that. It's messing you up. Like Russell Henley still played amazing. He gained almost 9 shots tee to green. He didn't have a great back 9 when the pressure was on. He gained 9 shots tee to green and almost 6 on the putting green, on the putting surfaces. So I mean,
he was out.
He golfed his ball. He was throwing absolute darts in there. He's 36-1 on FanDuel, another weird number. Now he's never played well here.
You're definitely going with you don't care about course history.
He's never played well here. But
missed his last 4 cuts here.
Yeah, you're right. He has. And as I scrolled and looked at his form leading into those 4 years, it looks nothing like the ball striking form that we have right now. So to me, you can throw those last 4 years out of there because I mean it's a different player coming into this event. So I don't know. It's just tempting, and maybe the number is maybe the number's a little short because of the recent play. I don't know. Maybe it's a wait and see kind of number on him at 36-1, but it's just one that I wanted to talk about because it was an interesting thing to think about today. Now here's a name that we have not seen so far this year, but you're gonna laugh because you're gonna laugh at me. But at 70-1 on FanDuel, I really like Luke List this week. I really like Luke List. Okay. Now,
Shocker.
a mixed bag of results at the American Express. He's played here 7 times. He's made 4 cuts with a little bit of upside. T21 last year, T6 back in 2016. I mean, Luke is also, he tends to prefer the West Coast. We heard that on our interview with Luke. He likes the West Coast. Had a great fall, 7th at the Zozo, 11th at the Houston, 10th at the RSM. Like, the ball striking has been very solid. It always, as always, is going to come down to what for Luke, the putter. So I don't know, but it's 70-1. It's just one that kind of caught my eye. So, I mean, I guess those two. I mean, I wish Siwoo was playing a little better because I still like him at 65-1. I think that's kind of a longish number. He's 65-1 on DraftKings. I feel like that's kind of a long number for a defending champion and a guy who's won twice on Pete Dye courses and 3 times on the PGA Tour. Like, doesn't that seem a little long to you?
Yeah,
For Siwoo? And
I agree.
I mean, he's a very aggressive player. So it may not be the safest outright play. This may be more of a DFS feel, but he's an aggressive player. And right now he's pretty volatile, which tends to be what you want in a tournament or something on DraftKings. But yeah, I mean, he's not hitting the ball great with his irons at the moment, but at 65-1, I just looked at it and thought, wow, that's not a bad number for a defending champ who could really, I mean, I think Siwoo could win anywhere. And I don't think he's intimidated by anyone in the field. So I don't know. That was one that was interesting to me. I can't believe you didn't say Ricky at 60-1.
No, I may play him in DFS, but I'm not going to bet him at 60-1.
Yeah. Daniel Bait up in the chat. You're due, DB. # Luke List. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to ride Luke List all the way. All the way. Till either he retires or we get canceled. One or the other. All right. I have one pick in this next range, that kind of over 75-1, but up to 125-1. This is where line shopping, # line shopping means a lot because a lot of names in the over 125-1 area.
Yes.
But for me, the only one in here that I've got is at 100-1. And he's got a great record here, actually, a 16th, a 37th, an 18th, and a 29th, his last 4 attempts here at this golf course. So clearly he's comfortable, and he's coming off a 7th place finish at the Sony Open. It's Mr. Russell Knox.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little Russell Knox. Yeah, I mean, gained strokes on every category last week. Just a great, another guy like Corey Connors who first event out the gate came out looking really sharp. I mean, 7 strokes gained over tee to green. Putted well, which is very rare for him. And so that's something that's interesting because like Russell Knox is a terrible putter. That's his issue. That's his bugaboo, right? I mean, the last event we saw him before this was the RSM where he lost 6 strokes putting. And so now he comes to the Sony and he gains 1.6. And you're thinking, I wonder what happened. Did something happen between October and January? Well, I don't know. Maybe it did. You'd like to think so. You'd like to think that in the offseason, Russell Knox went to his coaches or somebody and said, hey, I need to learn how to damn putt the golf ball and put it in the hole. And maybe he found him a little something. Or you might say, oh, well, he probably just putts well. Maybe he putts well, at the Amex. Well, he doesn't. Like he's pretty terrible at the Amex. He's only gained strokes at the Amex once, which isn't great. Before the Sony, he doesn't really do well putting the Sony either. So maybe he actually found a little something on the offseason, but the ball striking's been great. And 100-1 seems like a decent value. So Russell Knox for me, that's it.
Okay, well, that takes one of mine away. So I will go with, I think Carlos Ortiz at 80-1 is interesting. I think this could be a good course fit for him. Last time, I believe last time we saw him was at the Mayakoba where he finished second. I could be wrong there. Yeah, second at the Mayakoba. Now he does not fit your narrative of playing in Hawaii, so we have not seen him there. But if you just look at Ortiz, he is a sorry.
Yeah, what are you doing?
24th in ball striking. He's 6th in opportunities gained. So that's a scoring stat on Fantasy National that I like, especially in a scoring week like this. Top 25 in strokes gained approach. So you look at Ortiz, I mean, he definitely checks boxes here, and I think, we saw him with that second place finish at Mayakoba, 80-1. That's a pretty long number for a guy who's won on tour before, who is a solid player. I like that number. So there you go. But you took
Okay.
my other one at Knox with 100-1.
Gotcha. All right, let's wrap this up, Pat. We got to hit the bombs. There's a lot of bombs here. Listen, this is a valuable reason to be in the Nut Hut. By the way, our boy Caddy John dropped some knowledge there on the putting surfaces in the Nut Hut today. So if you're in there, check out Caddy Info. Drop some really good intel on the greens, as he does every week, just on the whole golf course. But the Nut Hut community is growing. It's booming. We had some good hits last week. Get in there. Get in the Nut Hut. Go to tourjunkies.com/Nut Hut. Join. It's $10 a month. $90 a year. It's an incredible community. We got channels in there for every sport, people giving info and sharing information for every sport. We got a crypto NFT channel if you're into that. That thing's hopping right now. Yeah, get in the Nut Hut. It's going to be good stuff. We'll be doing our live chat on Wednesday nights and maybe a little bit also on Thursday morning with the 3-hour delay for the East Coasters, if you want to check that out. The Nut Hut is booming. Get in there. It's a lot of fun. So we'll talk through a lot of these. There's a lot of names in here that are worth potential flyers, but let's just name a couple. I'll start with KH Lee at 130-1 on DraftKings. He's played here 3 times. He's got a T21 and a T32. He's coming off, not great finishes at either the Sony or the Century. T48 last week at the Sony, but I'm kind of liking what I see out of KH Lee. The ball striking is there. You're just waiting on the putter to come around. Last week, he gained 3.4 strokes tee to green, lost strokes putting, gave them all back putting, basically. But we know KH Lee turned, PGA Tour winner, aggressive player. I like that about him. So KH Lee is interesting to me at 130-1. This Adam Svensson kid, who I was debating on him all freaking Wednesday last week and Thursday morning. I was debating between Svensson and Novak, and I went Novak, and I definitely should have gone Svensson. Svensson played great last week. He's 150-1 on DraftKings. He's actually played here before as well, so he's one to watch. And there's some bombs. If you do some line shopping, James Hahn 280-1 on FanDuel. He's a West Coast player. He's a hot player. Like when he gets going, he can make a lot of birdies. He's a PGA Tour winner. He's 280-1. Hudson Swafford's 250-1. He's been playing better lately. Obviously, a multiple-time PGA Tour winner. And then a guy. It's my last one. And this is a total bomb. I dished this out. I'm now, Pat. I don't know if you know this, but I'm now a very excellent showdown tout. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
No, I'm a showdown tout. Yeah. Last week, somebody asked me after I think round 2, said, "Who's your showdown play?" And I said, "I got one." And it's a guy who doesn't have a lot of pop in the bat, but he hits a lot of fairways, hits a lot of greens, and he can get really hot with the putter. And he's on a medical exemption. He's got limited starts. He's picking and choosing his spots to stay on the PGA Tour. He's chosen PGA West, and he played great last week. Wesley Bryan, a PGA Tour winner at Harbor Town just a couple years ago, is 350-1 on FanDuel. Now that is obviously that's what we call a bomb. Okay, He finished T27 last week at the Sony Open. Maybe it's a guy who you wait and see what his top 20 number is or something like that. But I mean, gained 3 strokes on approach last week, 4 strokes putting. Wesley Bryan's a player, and he's on, like I said, he's on limited starts coming off a medical. That's just a long shot on FanDuel at 350-1.
Okay. Well, I got a few here that I like. One, the first one I'll mention mainly because I think his odds are just so crazy across the board because you see him as short as 100-1, but you can get him at 161 on FanDuel, and that's HV3 Harold Varner III.
Oh yeah, he's 90-1 other places.
Yeah, 160-1 on FanDuel. I mean, you look at his stats. He's a good ball striker, great on approach, aggressive player. Checks the box and birdie or better percentage and opportunities gained. So I think HV3. Getting him at that 160-1 number is pretty incredible. I feel like that's probably going to get shorter, but I think that's something to look at. Another one, here's a rookie, couple rookies for you. Aaron Rye at 160-1. He's a guy that's played extremely well lately. He's not a great putter, but you know what? I don't know if we've seen him
either.
putting. Mm-hmm. So I like him at 160-1. He's 12th in the field in ball striking, 21st in approach. top 10 in driving accuracy, which I think is a kind of a sneaky stat to look at this week. So I do like Aaron Rai there. And I say that from a sneaky stat because on some of these courses, not La Quinta, because La Quinta is more of a tree line course, but the other two have a lot of water. You got to hit fairways, okay? So you can't get yourself in a lot of trouble. So I do think that could be just a stat to look at. And then Davis Riley is at 200 to 1.
Ooh.
I mean, this guy is not, I mean, it's not like he's, that new. I mean, he played a good amount of starts last year. He was kind of like, the bridesmaid to Willie Z. But I do think Davis Riley is a guy that can make some noise on tour this year. You're getting him at 200 to 1. He's another guy, good at ball striking, very accurate off the tee, good off the tee, strokes gained off the tee, 31st in the field. He's third in birdie or better percentage. So I think Davis Riley at 200 to 1 is a very good long shot. And that's all I got as far as the outrights, but I do have several top 20s.
I couldn't find top 20s. Where'd you find them?
I found them on DraftKings.
All I see is top 10s. Did you pay attention to whether or not they're top 10s, Pat? Yeah, you did.
Maybe I did.
Good God Almighty. Oh, man.
No, these were top 20s.
I can't find them.
Unless the site I'm looking at is wrong.
Are you on DraftKings?
I'm not on the DraftKings site at the moment. But
are you on Data Golf?
Yeah, I'm on Data Golf, and it's importing just DraftKings. They're the only top 20s.
I can't even see. Hold on. What if I do that? No, I can't even see those. All right, forget it. Well, we don't have top 20s. We don't have time for top 20s tonight. All right. Let's get to our favorites, our favorite bets of the night, pal. We've named a few favorites here. We've named a few names here, right? Guys who we think you need to jump on early, you need to jump on now, and our favorite bets that we want to lock in right now, presented by Covers. Winning starts at Covers. If you're a sports bettor, covers.com is where you need to go. Our article comes out tomorrow afternoon on Tuesday or so. So if you're looking for top 20s, head-to-head matchups we like, and maybe a prop bet, check out the free article on covers.com that drops on Tuesday afternoons. Did pretty good last week. I think we hit 2 of 3 matchups. We hit a top 20. I think that's it. So we did pretty good last week. I think you would have made some units on covers.com. All right, my favorites. I'm going to give you 4, and then if you don't name one guy, I'm going to give you another one. But Corey Connors for me, 25 to 1. The best number I can find him right now is BetMGM. The ball striking clearly shows back up. First event out last week at the Sony, finishes 11th, killing the irons. I think Corey Connors just makes all the sense in the world there at 25 to 1. Our guest on tonight's podcast, Roger Steele, mentioned his pick was Taylor Gooch. We didn't talk about Taylor Gooch, but Taylor Gooch is obviously playing some really good golf right now, coming off the first victory back in the fall. He's got a 4th place finish, a 17th, and a 21st in this event. Obviously, he likes him some PGA West. Finished 27th at the Sony last week. I think Taylor Gooch is riding a lot of confidence. He's obviously playing well. And 36 to 1 on FanDuel doesn't feel like a terrible number in this field. And then I'm going to go with Russell Knox at 100 to 1. Talked about him. He's got a great record here as well. Loves him some PGA West and played really solid last week on his way to a T7 finish at the Sony Open, where he gained strokes in every major strokes gain category, including putting, which doesn't happen often for him. So I'll go Russell Knox. And then KH Lee for me at 130 to 1 on DraftKings. I think you get on that number of, aggressive player, PGA Tour winner, played the 2 events in Hawaii. So he's in rhythm. He's ready to go. KH Lee at 130 to 1 on DraftKings. That's it for me.
All right. Well, I'll give you 3 or 4 here too. I like Scotty Scheffler at 20 to 1 if you can get him at that number. I think that's a really good one there. I like Matthew Wolff at 31 to 1. As DB corrected me, he said that we can get 31 to 1. So I'll go there. I like Willie Zalatoris at 50 to 1. I'll take that number. And then I will go with HV3. Harold Varner III at 160 to 1 is where he is on FanDuel. And you can get him a lot shorter elsewhere. So look on FanDuel, get him at 160 to 1. And those are my 4 names. Right there.
Yeah, that's the HV3 number was the one I was thinking, you need to name. I mean, if you're watching this now and you can find HV3 at 160 to 1 on FanDuel, I think you should do something, like, just because he is 90 and 100 to 1 everywhere else. And we're all waiting on HV3 to win that first PGA Tour victory. He's been close before. He just had the baby in the fall. Maybe he's got a little baby swag, nappy factor going on. I don't know. But we're all waiting on that to happen. And there's probably not one of, a better guy on the PGA Tour. We've had him on our podcast before. He's a great dude. Probably not a better guy on the tour to have that happen too. So we'd love to see it go down, especially if we put him down at 160 to 1.
Yes.
All right, I think that's it. The American Express Betting Podcast. Don't forget to comment on the YouTube video. Who's your favorite golf influencer to follow on social media? Who is it? Tell us. We had Roger Steele on here. He's one of my favorites. We're going to have some more guest pickers on the show from time to time this year. But comment on the YouTube channel right now on who is your favorite golf influencer, and we'll pick one person at random. We'll send you a T-shirt and a hat from Trap Golf. Roger's favorite, Trap Golf. And if you don't want Trap Golf, if you don't like Trap Golf, if that's not your style, we'll send you something from TJ if you win. There you go. Thanks. We're going to head over and do the DFS show, talk about some DraftKings. Let's get it. Pat, COVID, you feeling all right? You just finished the first.
I'm okay.
I'm
all right.
Good?
I'm here.
All right, let's go lube up for the next show. Get some liquor in there. I got a little tequila I got to refill. Let's do that. And let's get going. All right. Bend over your bookie today. You know what I mean? Bend them over. Bend them. Hit it.
Do it.
Because, Mayor Screensby Green doesn't really apply here. All right. See you. Out.